Hi, I'm Callie Oxford, a senior at Broughton High School, and today I have had the honor of talking with Gordon Brown, who is the business inductee into the Hall of Fame this year. Tell us about what drives your servant leadership spirit, and who has influenced you, and how can you pass that on?
I started out as a young child watching my parents and what they were involved in. And I saw my mother and my father both involved in PTAs, involved in civic clubs in the community and giving back. And so as I grew up, that's what I saw, and that's what I thought everyone did. And so I continued to model that, or chose to model that, as I got a bit older. And so when I got out of high school and went to college and got involved in activities on campus and those type things, to do things at Chapel Hill. And then when I got out of college, I started in my professional life and thought, all right, how do I give back? What is the first thing I'm going to do, and what do I feel most passionate about? And education, public education, has always been a big ticket item for my family, something we've always been very passionate about, that and helping at-risk children. So those two things, I said, I got to get involved in those. And so that's what led me down the path that I started on by doing work with Wake Education Partnership and the Boys and Girls Club. And so the passion also is generated by the fact that I have a sister. I have three older sisters. I'm the youngest and the only boy. And so I have a sister, though, that taught in the Wake County Public School System for 30 plus years. And so I got to see what she did a lot, and I saw how passionate she was about her kids, and not her personal kids, but her student kids, and she treated them like her own children. She did things that I don't think parents ever realize that teachers do, how much they care. And she would, go to their sporting events. She would go to their theater events, whatever it was. She would go to those events to show that she supported the kid. She would go to their house if they needed help, drop things off at their house if they were falling behind. She would reach out all the time to do more to help them. And so she's just one of many teachers, obviously, that does that type of work. And so I've been driven by the fact that I want to do whatever it is to show those teachers in our community that we, as business leaders, care about them, care about what they do, and respect them as professionals that they are.
Tell us about how the pandemic has influenced your practices and what challenges that this has caused.
Well, as you know, as a high school student who has dealt with a lot and wearing masks and doing things online and all of that, it has been a new world, and nobody was prepared for it. We didn't have a playbook that told us how to do all these things. And so as a business leader, as the CFO for my company, part of our executive leadership, trying to figure out how to deal with the pandemic and how to continue to operate our business, we had to meet regularly as a leadership team to navigate that path. And we were used to always caring about our employees. We think we treat our employees very, very well. And we try to provide benefits, try to provide everything to make our environment a welcoming environment, a place that people enjoy coming to work every day. And we've always thought we did a good job with that. Well, with the pandemic, all of a sudden you threw in a new wrinkle, that it wasn't just about those things, but you had to make sure you created an environment that was safe for people to work in. And so obviously for a while, we had many of our employees working from home, those that could, but we also had employees that were still out in the field every day. We install, deliver furniture to commercial accounts, government accounts, education, healthcare, all of that. And that didn't stop. So we had men and women every day going into the field throughout all of this, continuing that work. And so I take great pride in those people and what they were able to do, but we had to make sure they were safe. And so we followed all protocols that we could to make sure that they were safe. And we also have done that as we've thought we were getting through this pandemic before Delta kicked in and knocked us all for a loop. But we've brought people back to the office, and we've continued to provide a safe environment for them to work in. But we've also had to look at how we do business differently, something, again, we didn't think about. Having been in the business community for many years, many more than I'd like to count at this time, but we probably weren't as flexible along the way as we should be with employees and their ability to work remotely. And so kind of the old school way of thinking of everybody's in the office every day has changed a bit. So we've had to be more flexible about remote work because we've seen that it works. But at the same time, we also know that collaboration in the workplace is paramount to having a successful business, that you can't beat collaboration. So we've had to balance that. And I don't think any company has quite figured it out yet, how to have that remote work side and that collaboration side, people in the office, not in the office. But we're trying the best we can to provide that balance, and we'll keep looking at it and figuring it out as we go.
As an executive member of the Boys and Girls Club, what made you specifically choose that organization?
Yeah, as I talked about a few minutes ago, a passion for helping at-risk children. I did not grow up in an at-risk environment. I, as you and others, have grown up in an environment that we had all the opportunities in front of us. We had many people supporting us, had many resources to allow us to achieve our goals. And I know that there are kids out there that don't have those resources, don't have the environment at home necessarily that helps with those type things to the level that others have. And I have always wanted to do what I can to level the playing field, to give those opportunities to those kids who deserve it just as much as you do, just as much as I do. And so I've done my part as best I can to support the Boys and Girls Club and those kids. And talk about kids that have really had a struggle during the pandemic are the kids at the Boys and Girls Club that have for a while had no place to go when the clubs are closed. And so again, trying to figure out how to bring those kids back to provide that opportunity for them, and partnering with Wake Education Partnerships, YMCA, other organizations to help those kids, provide places for them to go every day for online learning was key. And so while that's current day stuff of the Boys and Girls Club, the Boys and Girls Club has been there for those kids for years and years and years, and I feel very passionate about being part of that effort.
And what advice would you give our audience members about how we can support public education as we all move forward together?
The thing about public education that I talk about a lot when I promote it everywhere I go, I have a teacher that you know well who talks about that and says anywhere you are, you need to promote public education, praise it from the mountaintops and those type things. And so I believe in that. And so I think it's important for us to talk to business leaders about getting involved in the classroom, getting involved in the schools. Don't just look from the outside and think you have the answers, because it's a different world when you step through those doors of a school. And so you need to go to the classroom. There are kids in elementary school that need help reading. You can go help those kids read. There are kids in high school who need financial literacy, so you can go help in a classroom, help with financial literacy, help those kids understand basic literacy issues that they're going to face as they come out of high school. And so there are plenty of opportunities for business leaders to get involved and use those skills that they have as leaders to help in the classroom. And so I encourage leaders to reach out to our principals, system principals, whatever, to find opportunities to get into the classroom and help the kids.